And good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Boy, oh boy, so good to see you again. My name is Nicholas Viselli. I'm the artistic director of Theater Breaking Through Barriers, and I would like to all cordially welcome you to Theater Breaking Through Barriers' first ever Hybrid Playmakers Intensive, or HPI 1. Dramatis Ubiquitous. We are coming to you, yes, very, very live from right here deep in the heart of the Thunderdome, Midtown Manhattan, from TBTB's offices. And we're so excited to be here. My goodness, this is our second night of our illustrious 7-night and first ever hybrid festival. If you were lucky enough to tune in last night, you had the opportunity to see our kickoff with a really wonderful play by Jared Bogard. And I have to tell you, tonight we have a really wonderful show for you as well. The whole idea of this hybrid intensive, we just to give you a bit of a background here, we started doing our Playmaker Intensive workshops back in 2011, back at the time when we called them a 24-hour festival, and we called it our TBTB boot camp. And that's when we gathered writers, directors, actors together, randomly paired everybody into groups, and gave each group 24 hours to create a short play. Really nice concept. The only problem is it didn't really do much for the actors or the directors, because the writer only had 24 hours. So there wasn't a lot of time to rehearse it, and there wasn't a whole lot of time to stage it the way we would have liked. So we decided, why don't we just expand it a week? So we would meet on a Saturday, and we would give the whole week so that people had time to rehearse. The writers had more time, the directors had a chance to direct, the actors had a chance to act. And then the following Sunday, we would gather together, do a dress rehearsal, and then invite a live audience to come in and see the work. Really exciting, always yielding about 5 or 6 original short plays every season. And this happened until the pandemic. And then suddenly we said, well, what are we going to do? And we thought, why don't we try doing an intensive online? I didn't think it was going to succeed, because part of the joy of live theater is being in the room and feeling the energy, and the participation and the excitement is what kind of creates the work. But I was wrong, because when we started the intensives, everybody was able to gather together from wherever they were in the world, and the collaborations took place, the energy took place, and the shows that we wrote for this platform really captured the imaginations of all of our artists. And that became, instead of spreading a pandemic, we were spreading a pandemic of theater, a pandemic of love and original work. So that was our joy. Now, as we're creeping out of that and moving back into live theater, we want to try to see what works on stage, what works here. Can a play exist in both? And of course, the most important question of all, is it still theater if it comes from a computer screen? So we'll talk a little bit about that after we get to see this show, because I'm not going to talk anymore. I want to shut up so that you can all enjoy this wonderful play. It was written by Rob Urbinati. I've known Rob for several years now. This is the first time we're getting a chance to work together. And the piece is called Blood Runs Cold. Based on the title, you already get a sense that it's very gripping, it's dramatic, maybe melodramatic. And it's sort of a period piece, sort of a tip of the hat homage to Tennessee Williams, maybe Tennessee Williams on a bender. I don't know what else to say. I think I'll let you be the judge of that. So it was directed by the incredible Graydon, who is indeed here with us tonight, and this really phenomenal cast: Keith Murfee-DeConcini, Samantha Debicki, Gaia, Visnar. I'm going to shut up right now, and I'm going to ask the actors to give a brief audio description of themselves for the benefit of anyone who may be watching who can't see, so you'll be able to hear voices and get an idea as to how everybody looks, and then we'll get this thing rolling. So my dear artists, please describe yourselves.
Hello, I'm Keith Murfee-DeConcini. I play Cornell Lavender. I am a male Caucasian in a white button-down shirt with long curly hair.
Hi, my name is Samantha Debicki. I play Florence Lavender. I'm a Caucasian female with long red hair, and my backdrop is an old Southern mansion, the interior of an old Southern mansion with heavy wooden furniture and a window with long drapes.
Hi, my name is Gaia Visnar. I play Banky Lavender. I'm a Caucasian woman with long, dark hair, currently in a bun. I'm wearing an elegant black dress with a silver sparkling ribbon on top. My background is the same as Sammy's and everybody else's.
Oh my goodness. Ladies and gentlemen, you are in for a treat. So please sit back, relax, and enjoy Rob Urbinati's Blood Runs Cold.
Flo, look at me, Flo. Don't turn away like that. There's something I gotta tell you.
Please, Cornell, I just...
Can't you see it's eating me alive?
Banky should be down any second. I need to know if...
I don't give a hoot about Banky.
Not now, Cornell. Please leave me be. I'm in a state.
You're always in a state. I'm sorry, Flo. Damn it to hell.
Oh, Mama's dying, Cornell. You know that, don't you?
It's why I'm begging you to hear me.
Florence? Florence!
I'm right here, Mama. Go upstairs for me, Cornell. See how she's doing.
Still got enough strength in her to holler.
I don't want Mama alone up there with Banky. I need to know that she's comfortable. Do as I ask, Cornell.
Bitch can't wait, Flo. The clock is ticking.
Not now. Mama, are you all right? Mama? Why doesn't she answer?
You're all I live for, Flo. Without you, I got no reason to walk this up. If something were to happen to you,
You're scaring me, Cornell.
I'm just trying to get through to you.
You're a loving person, a sensitive man. Now have a heart. I need to find out what Mama wants. Mama? Mama?
Oh, God, I'm a mess. It's the booze. I can blame it on the booze, can't I?
We all have our crosses to bear, Cornell.
And I can blame the booze on our family's sins. I'm ruined.
You are not to blame. None of us is to blame.
Slaves made Granddaddy rich, and he preyed on them. You heard the stories. That's why they tore him limb from limb. First chance they got. Then threw him to the wild dogs who gnawed the meat off his bones. Got what he deserved.
Don't take it on yourself, Cornell. That was a long time ago. Now go upstairs for me, please.
We're still living off those spoils, Flo. Pharaohs was built on their backs. And are they any better off now? Waiting on us hand and foot while we live like fat cats? It's killing me.
We're very respectful to the help, Cornell, except Banky. Is that what you wanted to tell me?
I'm getting to it.
We will make amends, Cornell, I promise, once I come into the inheritance. But now isn't the time with Mama drawing her last breaths. I will hear your every word, Cornell. But please wait till Mama... Mama, answer me. Banky, come down here. Oh, I'm in a state.
I cherish you, Flo.
Mama, isn't this quaint? Bless your little hearts, just what our family needs. Incest.
Shut your filthy mouth.
Well, all of us
Benji.
lavenders are gifted with impure desires and murderers' impulses. We are grotesque. Why not add incest to our trespasses?
Speak for yourself.
I am speaking for myself. 3 husbands, and none of them died a natural death.
You saying you killed them? All of them?
I'm not saying I didn't. Dig them up and find out. They're buried out back with our granddaddy.
Pay her no mind, Cornell. She's in a meddling mood. Banky, be kind to Cornell. For me.
I ain't never had an impure thought.
Like hell. You follow Flossie around, sniffing like a hound. A blind man can see what you're after.
She's the kindest woman in the world. If it wasn't for her,
You dog her because she's in a wheelchair and she can't run away from you right like everyone else.
give me that fire iron. I'm gonna puncture your black heart.
Show some respect for our mother. The 2 of you down here squabbling like children with her upstairs dying.
And taking her sweet time, the old banshee.
You're gonna get what you got coming, Banky. Just you wait.
You're a yellow belly, Cornell. I'm not afraid of you. No one is. You're just a puke, lolling around in a drunken stupor, pining after your crippled sister.
Be gentle with him, Banky. Can't you see the man's in a lot of pain?
I am being gentle. This is my soft side. When Mama croaks, y'all better watch out. That means you too, Flossie. I don't care that you're my sister. I have no mercy.
Pull yourself together. You're just upset because Mama's dying.
Well, not fast enough.
I wonder why she stopped hollering for me. Is she asleep? Becky, did you give her the medication?
You mean the morphine? Rest easy, Flossie. Mama's drug-addled just like she likes it.
So she's not in any pain?
Oh, Mama's doing just fine, if you please. She's the same mean-mouthed, mendacious bitch she's always been. But any day now, any hour, if we're lucky, the dope fiend will be lowered down into a deep, dark grave. And I'll trump all over her in my heels.
You look like you're dressed for a funeral.
I am.
Mama's still alive.
Not for long.
Be kind, Banky. Mama cares deeply for you. You
That
know
woman
that.
despises me.
You mustn't provoke her. She's at death's door. Don't stir up trouble. She needs her rest.
She'll have plenty of time to rest when she's dead.
Let her go in peace. Will you do that for me?
She just spit at me, Flossie. Spit right in my face. So I took one of her lace handkerchiefs, the one that you embroidered for her, and I wiped it off and flung it at her.
Oh, Banky, you must have done something to torment her.
I was doing everything I could to torment her. And now it's time to torment you.
Is that Mama's will?
It's her new will.
Who drew this up?
My boyfriend.
Banky, how could you?
It was Mama's idea, not mine.
Why did she want to change her will?
Well, she wants to leave all her money to me. See, she signed right here. But it needs one more witness. That's where you come in, Flossie. Or even you, Dolmat. I'm not particular, but one of you will sign this damn thing, or there'll be hell to pay.
You forced Mama to do this, Banky.
I did no such thing.
You no good slut. Everyone knows she wants to leave all her worldly possessions to flow.
Not anymore. Now it's all mine.
Why are you so desperate for money? I'll give you what you need.
Because I deserve it. And Daddy wanted me to have it. Right before Mama pushed him down the stairs, he said, Banky, baby, make sure you get every red cent.
Daddy's dead. Don't make no difference what he wanted.
I don't care about the money, Banky. You know that. But Mama's wishes must be honored.
She changed her mind. She's racked with guilt about what she did to Daddy.
You ain't spoke one word of truth since you come down those stairs.
Shut your fly trap, witch-hound.
Why? Banky, why are you behaving like this?
It's your fault.
If Mama favors me, it's because I've been kind to her.
And Daddy can't stick up for his little girl no more.
Yeah, because he was murdered. Mama murdered him. And she killed Uncle Clam too, when he accused her of cheating her out of Fair Oaks.
That's not what happened. Uncle Clem was hit by a train.
It was going at full speed. There wasn't much left of him. I had to pick up the tiny pieces with a tweezer.
Mama shoved him in front of that train.
She did no such thing.
Mama is a murderer. Daddy worshipped that woman. He was devastated when he found out she was keeping lovers, hustlers, and con men stampeding in and out of her rank in cement bed. It destroyed him. I watched them fight, and I saw her shove him down the stairs with my own eyes. That's how she gets rid of men who stand in her way. She pushes them into early graves.
You don't know that, Banky.
She just confessed to me. And she confessed to much more.
More gutter talk from your wicked tongue.
What else did she confess, Banky?
It's staring you right in the face. Look at you two.
Whatever do you mean?
Mama was a whore. She had syphilis. She's the reason you're in a wheelchair and why you talk the way you do. She did that to both of you.
Why were you spared?
I'm the exception. I'm always the exception.
You weren't spared. Your mind is diseased.
Please, Banky, don't say such things about Mama. It isn't right.
She destroyed Daddy's life. Don't you give a damn about that? She annihilated that man who had nothing but love in his heart for her.
His heart was as black as...
If you utter another foul syllable about Daddy Cornell, I'll shove that fire iron down your throat.
You think Daddy went to Atlanta for what? Oh, sure, he did a little business. Then he'd go after the Hudsons. He'd spread his dirty lucre around the city's finest townhouses. Every draft in Atlanta knew him by name. Eunice, Lavender, Whoremonger.
You miscreant!
How do you know all this, Cornell?
Young Betsy told me before she ran off.
Bessie, the kitchen maid? How would she know anything about Daddy?
He'd go bragging to her about his fornication, pretending like he was a friend, whining that Mama didn't give him what he needed, and so he had to go out and get it. And he raped and he violated that poor child. She told me the 6 things he tried to do to her. She chased after him with her butcher knife, but he scurried away like a rat.
Yeah. Just because he tried to rape her, that was no excuse for Bessie to run off and leave us stranded. Dinner has not been served on time even once since she abandoned us.
Our granddaddy and his daddy did the same thing to her mama and her mama's mama before that. Our closet is full to bursting with diabolical skeletons. See why I turned to drink?
Oh, Cornell, you suffered so.
It's what I've been trying to tell you, Flo. I wanted you to know what kind of man Daddy was before Mama passed on.
You're always looking out for me, Cornell. Bless you. But I knew all about Daddy.
What'd you know?
Cornell just wants the money, Flossie. That's why he's talking trash.
I don't want a cent. I know why Mama didn't want me to have it. I mean, look at me.
Our daddy was a fine gentleman. He didn't keep any whores. It was Mama who was whoring herself and passed her sex disease down to both of you.
Cornell is telling the truth, Banky.
You believe this godforsaken rummy over your own sister?
Yes, I do. I believe him because Daddy raped me.
My good Lord, no!
Don't drown your sorrow in liquor, Cornell. Not anymore. It's time to face the past.
You greedy
Come,
hellcat.
listen to me.
You greedy hellcat. You'll say anything to keep your devouring paws on that money.
This has nothing to do with the money, Banky. Whether you believe that or not is your choice. But you need to know the truth about Daddy.
Tell me, Flo. I gotta know everything.
When I was 15, Daddy came home stumbling drunk one night and had his way with me.
Christ almighty. Why didn't you tell me? I would have torn him limb from limb, just like his daddy, and fed him to the wild dogs.
That's why I didn't tell you, Cornell.
Granddaddy was not fed to wild dogs. You're embellishing for dramatic effect. I don't believe one word you say.
You can believe me, Banky. Daddy had touched me a few times before that night when he was tipsy. I fought him off, but I couldn't run away. I wanted to tell you, honey, but you loved him so. I didn't want to shatter your image of him. I thought of letting Mama know too.
You should have.
Didn't have to. Over the next few months, I became withdrawn. She sensed something was wrong. When she asked me about Daddy, I'd quiver and shake. I never told her what happened, but she could see it in my eyes. I was with child. I didn't want anyone to know, even her. I took up embroidery and I kept that sewing basket on my lap.
What happened to the child?
I aborted it myself with this here fire-eye.
Lord have mercy.
My little girl is buried out back with the bones of our granddaddy.
And all of Banky's ex-husbands.
That was a joke, imbecile.
Mama confronted Daddy. I heard them quarreling upstairs. She was hollering my name. And then he fell.
Oh, he was shoved.
Maybe. Who knows? Mama will take that secret to her grave.
I thought I knew Daddy's dog secrets, but I didn't know the how. I'll never forgive myself, Flo. I should have seen what he done to you. Mama saw it in your eyes, and he infected her with his poison seed.
Don't torture yourself, Cornell. There's no denying that Daddy made us how we are. But Mama made us how we are too. Yes, Cornell, she put kindness in our hearts. Now give me that will, Banky.
What are you going to do with it?
Please give me that will.
Sign it, Flo. It's what Mama wants. Now, this should be done in her presence, but I'm sure the law would make a teeny little allowance. You being a cripple and all.
My greatest regret is that none of Mama's kindness made its way into your heart. Cornell, here's my promise. We'll take the money I've inherited and do good work with it. When Mama passes, we'll sell this suffocating mansion.
Oh, give me the mansion, Flossie. I'm of the manor board.
It's yours, Banky. May it bring you the peace you desperately need. Cornell, you and I will leave Fair Oaks for good and move to Atlanta. We'll set up some kind of home for those dirt poor colored folk there. It's a small step, but it's a start.
So that's what you're going to do with all the money Daddy plundered? Resolve centuries of racial injustice, one tiny step at a time? You're a couple of half-wits.
We'll redress our family's sins so they can't do us any more harm, Cornell. Isn't that what you want?
You are an angel, Flo, one of God's angels sent to earth.
Now I want to see Mama. Come, Cornell, help me out of this wheelchair. Take me upstairs. Mama, Mama, I'm coming.
Daddy.
Oh, my. Oh, what a tangled web we weave. I'm getting the attack of the vapors here. Oh my goodness. Thank you guys. That was so much fun. Come on. Yeah, there we go. I have to tell you, I loved the play even more the second time around. Thank you for sharing it. Now, how could you not see that this is like such an over-the-top black comedy? It really is. It's. I mean, the fact that it just goes one. It just keeps building and building and building. I just thought it was really wonderful. So, all right, I have to ask. I'm gonna start with the actors first this time. You had an opportunity to perform this show twice now. What were the differences between the first time you performed it at 7:30 and the second time now? Well, how did it feel? Did it feel any different to you? And I'm going to start with you, Gaia, because it's really late. It's 3:00 in the morning.
Oh yeah, it's Lavinia. It's 3:00.
Uh-huh.
Well, it was great to see Cornell.
Yes,
We had some technical difficulties the first time round.
we did.
But that was lovely. It definitely felt different. It's great. I love doing it one time after another because all the things that I notice in the first run that come up to me, then I can do in the second run.
Yeah.
And yeah, it's always more juicy than the first one, I think.
Yeah, it gave you, I mean, it felt, I mean, you're really playing a lot. And it was just really playing for what it was. I think that's really great. How about you, Sammy?
I mean, it felt a little freer to me the second time around, because you sort of dusted any cobwebs off the first time. So, it was a little more playful.
Yeah.
And yeah, having Keith participate in the non-radio show version, like he gives a lot. So, seeing his face and being able to respond to it was extraordinarily helpful.
It's so important, isn't it? I'm sorry. Just so you know, folks, we were having some issues with the first show. And unfortunately, Keith's camera was not functioning. So we heard him, we didn't see him. And it was like, wait, you keep checking your screen. It's like, is something wrong here? Or are my eyes playing tricks with me? No, that's all that happened. But it felt really good this time. How about for you, Keith?
So yeah, the glitch was interesting, kind of brought in all the sisters really hallucinating or having some kind of psychotic break. Do I even exist? But no, I agree with both of my fellow actors. It felt a lot more freeing, and we felt a lot more confident, at least I did, every time we perform that, whether it's just a few pages or straight through, you get to know the characters so much more. And the only thing that could make it better is if we're all in the same room performing it on stage.
I agree. I mean, I think with a period piece, especially a piece like this, having you all together on stage, because there's a lot of subtleties that while you're all doing wonderful work, I want to say that up front, you're all doing really great work. When I could see you, when you're in the same space and we could sort of get a real feel for the energy between the two characters, how you're moving, how you deal with each other physically, that makes a big difference. And Florence is a character who is supposed to be in a wheelchair. So now on this particular, on Zoom, the only way that could be seen is if we actually put Sammy in a wheelchair and she actually turned and you could see the back or something, but you're missing the whole picture there. So I think this play would lend itself better to being on stage than on Zoom. That said, I think you guys gave it a really great effort, a really great ride. So thank you for that.
That was the
Grady,
best time through, I would say, of all the times we've done it in the past couple weeks.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, I agree.
For that to land. Last one.
It went well. So Grady, you do a lot of things. You write, and I think you act as well, and you direct. So what was this like to direct? I mean, if you could have had everybody on the same space, and I will say to you, one of the sort of ideas that we have with this intensive is to take some of the plays that we're presenting on Zoom and bringing them into a live space to sort of see how they transfer. This would have been one of those plays I would have loved to have done, but I couldn't do it without flying you all in from all parts of the world. And not that I don't want to do that, but it just was not feasible this time around. But there'll be other opportunities. I promise you that. What would you have done differently if this was like, what is it here? I'm going to have to sort of ask it a little more general question. What are the constraints of working on Zoom? What are the liberties of working on Zoom? And how do they differ from what you do on stage?
Yeah, I mean, certainly the liberties, we wouldn't have had these three actors and me in the places we all are. So that was great to have this cast be able to do it in this way. Yeah. But I think, as you were saying, Nick, it would be so much about kind of the subtleties and the silences that you can't really capture with Zoom lag, and people just going a little bit further away or a little bit closer when they're feeling certain things about what someone else is saying. It would, I don't think, except for the couple moments of kind of almost violence with the fire iron, it would be a pretty subdued thing. But I think that's where it lives, and you could just feel that heat that no one's moving because it's so hot and they're just trying to conserve energy. But all of us getting to feel that in one place together, I think would be so fun.
Yeah, I agree. Like you have to have a staircase. You have to have stairs. You have to have that thing that when Banky makes an entrance, you're above and on the stairs, and there's got to be those levels and that manipulation of how those levels are played with in terms of the relationships for each person. It's quite interesting, and yet then you have a chance to really mine the humor, because so much stuff gets like vomited out there. I'm sorry, I don't know how else to say it, but it's just like all this and this and this, and I had an abortion and I ended it with a fire iron. Oh my God, like how over the top is that? That is, I mean, I'm not, come on. It's really you got to be able to take that for what it's worth. I remember when we were doing a production of Romeo and Juliet. This was many years ago. My predecessor, the founder of TBTV, Ike Shamblin, had very interesting ideas as to how Shakespeare needed to be done. I mean, a lot of them made great sense. One of them was he honestly believed in his heart that Romeo and Juliet, Shakespeare wrote that for 4 actors to play all the roles. So we did a 4-character Romeo and Juliet. It was challenging to say the least. I mean, interesting, but it wasn't Romeo and Juliet to me, and I was in it. The play became a piece about 4 actors putting on a production of Romeo and Juliet. Sure. Our Juliet, Emily Young, was a wonderful actor, had to double as Paris, so she had to play a scene opposite herself. And so how do you do that? Well, if you take it seriously, the audience isn't going to buy it. You ultimately have to allow the audience to know that there is an element of humor and fun in this. Once the actors found that, the audiences loved it. They started settling into it. It was when there was that uncertainty of how do we play this, and we're playing it for real, that it became a little crazy. So I think with this play, you have to come into it with the idea of, all right, I've got to deliver this stuff, but I have to know, I have to be able to mine it for laughs and for pauses, so that the audience has a chance to process it. And I think the elements are here for that. So and I think you guys were doing great work. Like I think you were doing it in the first play, but I saw it more in the second play. Now, whether that was because I got to see all 3 of you this time, there wasn't the technical issues, or whatever, you guys just were firing. It was great.
Yeah, I think you would definitely get to see the set and the outfits a lot more. As I said in the last talk back, I've been reading the script every day, sometimes multiple readings. I've been in every room of the mansion. I'm very imaginative, but I'm also drinking very heavily.
There you go.
It's staying in character, I swear.
I know.
Yeah, I mean, Tad's words a pure joy to work with. And like I also said, I would be happy to fly across the country, provided you get the company back together, because I want to really be in the room with all of these phenomenal creative people, because I feel like I know them so well, when most of them were strangers to me a few weeks ago. And that's the beauty of TBTV.
Can I ask one question on that note, Keith? And I'll start. I'm gonna start this with you, Sammy, and then I'll ask Grady, and then I'll ask Gaia and Keith. This experience of doing I want to talk a little bit about the experience of doing the Playmakers Intensive, either virtually or live. I mean, or both. What is this like for you as artists from beginning to end? Like, how does this work for you? you've done several of them, so I have to hope that you enjoy doing them. And I'd like to sort of get to the heart of why, and like, what is it about this work that you might find interesting or exciting? Or if you don't, what you don't like about it. So you start, Sammy.
Well, I mean, I come back and I have a good time, I think, because it's exciting to be part of creating something that, you know, didn't exist 2 weeks or a week prior. You know, it's fun to have a hand in it from the ground up when, you know, there's it's a little bit nerve-wracking when you're pulling the names out of the hat. You know, you don't always know everyone, or you want to get a good, it's not even a good group, but it's like there's that weird kind of chemical component where you just don't know if you're going to click as collaborators, if that particular week, if that particular group of people are going to, you know, come up with something together that really has some meat to it. And it doesn't always work, like, but a lot more often than you would think it works, I think. So that's the part that's always a little bit stressful. Like, what's my group going to be and how are we going to be? But it is, you know, it's fun to have a conversation at the beginning with, you know, not a whole lot, you know, sometimes there are prompts or a theme that you had in mind, but, you know, beyond that, it's pretty open-ended in terms of people being able to talk about what they're interested in, what they, you know, what could be a fun challenge for everybody, so that, you know, you feel like you've built something from the ground up. And it's not, you know, when you're, as an actor, when you're performing in a role that has been created for you, even it's interesting because even if you don't know the playwright that well, it's like, it's interesting to see how you're perceived. And then, yeah, I think there's, because it's whatever the time span is, it's generally pretty limited, a week, a couple of weeks, or, you know, not much more than that. It takes the pressure off in terms of, it's not going to be this perfectly polished thing to preserve in stone. It's like a living, breathing creation. And this is just step one. So you can be more playful and have fun with it.
Yeah.
So that's what's sexy about the Playmakers Intensive to me.
Oh my God. You thank you for that. I think I agree with you. I think it's always fun for me to see how the groups come together. And I will say to you, it is nerve-wracking a little bit, because it takes one person in a group to throw the chemistry off. And I don't want to sound negative with that, but because, and I'll be honest with you, it doesn't happen a lot. It happens occasionally, but not a lot. I mean, I'd say in the last 6 intensives we've done, where we've created over 75 shows, I think it happened maybe 2 times, maybe 3 times. I can't remember, 2 or 3, but nothing to a point where it caused a complete breakdown where people said, nope, can't do it. Can't work with these people. Can't do it. It never really happened. It doesn't happen that often, but to see how people come together and collaborate and it becomes like a team building thing, I find it really extraordinary. How about you, Keith? Because you've done the live thing with us before, and you've done the virtual.
Yeah, I sort of just fell into the live thing, and that's a whole other story we unfortunately don't have time to get into. But yeah, I remember telling Rob, and I wish he were here with us. I asked him to write me a musical number because I wanted to sing, and that was the only type of theater I haven't done yet, and that's probably my 6th love language musical theater.
You love that, I know.
But he wrote something beyond that, gripping, painful, but incredibly authentic and honest. And like Sam said, being
Oh no.
Oh, no.
Because of these fine actors, all of which I consider family now, I only knew Gaia. And I mean, I would love to work with everyone again, particularly on this show, and with the amount of topics. I mean,
Yeah.
that's shocking because I wouldn't touch any of these topics with a 50-foot pole. But these actors and this director make it a pleasure.
Thank you. Thank you. Gaia, you've really been very immersed in a lot of the work that we do.
Yeah. It's the
Oh,
people. I come back for the people of TBTB. It's just the most amazing group of generous, loving people, artists. Everybody's so, talented and taking everything so seriously. And I love working with everyone always. And the other thing that I love about it is that the playwright usually meets with the actors and gets a sense of each individual person and writes a part tailored for you.
Yeah.
So it's always great to see how people see me, what parts I can play. It's that's always the thing that I really like. And it feels like we're creating something new together, which we are. It's like Sam said, it's a living, breathing beast, and always a new one. And it's just always a real pleasure. No matter what the topic is, if it's a really pleasurable one or a heavier one, it's always a real joy to create.
Thank you, Gaia. I agree. When we started this project, the whole idea was not only to there are many reasons for it. One of the reasons was because there were a lot of artists that we never really got a chance to work with, or we maybe had never worked with before. And this gave us an opportunity not only to bring them into the circle, but also to, in a way, audition people to sort of see how they worked with the rest of the group. And the fairness of pairing everybody randomly rather than assigning people it's important, because we don't want to sort of assume that, oh, I know you, so I'm going to only work with you. We want to try to keep rotating that, so it's not always, so that everybody gets a chance to work with each other. The other big reason was there was a lot of discussion early on about how writers don't write specifically. They're not thinking of disability a lot of times when they're writing a play. Now, I'm not saying you have to write a play about disability, but to have the consideration of a role that is being played by someone that, if they have a disability or they don't have a disability, they could play the role, and to open up that idea, that mindset of this play can be performed by anybody. The art is malleable, and you can create it and shape it however you want. 1776, the musical was written for a cast of men. That's how it was written. That's the way it is done. Well, we're seeing a cast of a female cast, transgender cast. That's what we're seeing today. Art is malleable. You can make it whatever you want. You may not be successful with that. It may be awful, but you know what? Who cares? It's art. And if you walk away from it feeling something, if it evokes a response of some sort, then it's good stuff. But we wanted to get writers to start thinking about writing for disabled artists. And so the best way to do that is to bring people into the room and say, all right, you don't have to write about the disability. I mean, if you want to, if people really want to do that, then fine. But I mean, Rob wrote this play. I don't have a chance to talk to him about it in this broadcast, but he wrote the play where there are two characters with disabilities. I don't think I think the disabilities matter. I mean, they should only matter as much as we want them to matter, not as much as an audience wants it to matter. So this project serves many, many functions within our company, and it really allows us to create a lot of really great things. And I think it sends a great sense of warmth, and people do enjoy it for the most part. I'm just so grateful to all of you for that. Grady, you've directed with us a bunch of times. I know you do so many other things, and I want to do other things with you aside from just have you directing all the time. So next time you get to choose what job you want. If you want to be a director, if you want to act, if you want to write, you get to choose. Just don't want you to write and direct what you're your piece. Yeah, you can do that, but it has to be two different pieces. So what about you? Like, what's your takeaway from all of this?
From what you were saying, I love that both this and the last one I did, the writer, we met the first day and they only get what they see from meeting the people on the first day. And so then they can imagine whatever backstory there is for these people, including, whatever they've taken in. And then in both these last cases, it's been a completely outlandish reasoning for how the people ended up how they are, which is not necessarily anything to do with the real people's circumstances. And I think that's a fun way of kind of shifting that lens on it to what you were saying. And you never know where people are coming from.
Yeah.
Which I think is a cool aspect of the writing it for the people and getting to do things that they haven't necessarily gotten the chance to try.
Yep. Yep. There's an element of surprise to it. When you walk into it, you have no idea who you're going to work with. You have no idea what the play is going to be about. You know nothing. And that's great because you have a hand in helping to shape what it becomes. You can't control it completely. You have to trust and rely on the rest of the group that you're with to help shape that. But it's the fact that you have a vested interest in the material that is being created, that you're ultimately going to perform and present or direct or whatever, is kind of a fun treat.
It's so exciting getting that from the playwright and opening it to see what it's going to be. It's like a present.
One last quick question, and I'll try to just be very brief about it before we wrap this, because I have to ask it, and I'm asking everybody every night. So, based on tonight's work and the work you've done, is it still theater if it comes through a computer screen? Grady.
I think so. I feel like when I was in school and we were kind of talking about that question, it's that there's a person on one side and there's a person on another side, and one is observing the other doing something. I think if it's on camera or on stage, as long as there are at least two people, it can be theater, even if they're separated by half a world.
I'll buy that. I mean, there is no right or wrong answer, folks. I'm not expecting you, if you strongly disagree and say, absolutely not, please tell me. I mean, like I said, one of my big questions about this was I've had people tell me, it's nice what you're doing, but it's not really theater. And it's like, well, okay. I don't particularly agree with that. I have my own ideas, but what do you think, Gaia?
Yeah, I think we're getting lost in the definitions of, theater as a space. This is still life. We are creating it every time we do it. It's just a different stage, which has moved online. But I still feel I have all the power as an actor that I have in theater, as opposed to film, where the editor has, a bigger power in deciding how they're going to storytell, because they choose what they want to show and they put the story together and they add music and all that.
Mhm.
So it's a different space that we're working in. It's a different, camera angles and all that we need to work with, but it's always live. There's always a partner. So I would agree with what Grady said.
Mhm.
And, it's a live organic thing that I think is theater. Yes, just in a different setting.
Thank you. Thank you. I absolutely agree with you on that. I do. Keith?
Yes, I agree. Like, I've been in both live and virtual. Mended comes to mind, that I did about a year and a half ago.
Yeah.
And that couldn't really be done,
Mhm.
have been done without Zoom. And this can be done with or without Zoom. And so I really feel that one of the few good things about the pandemic is it's sort of pushed us all to redefine what we think theater is. And I mean, TBTB before COVID was just a national theater company.
Yeah.
And because of COVID, it became an international theater company. So I agree with Gaia, the getting lost in the definitions, and if we continue these hybrid formats,
Mhm.
that's going to be how we do it from now on. And we get to reach so many more people that way. And before, no one could have predicted that. And so
Mhm.
I agree.
Thank you. Thank you. Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Sammy, I saved you for last.
Okay. So hear me out.
I feel
I think that what we're doing is theater adjacent.
Mhm.
And I can list all the reasons why I think it's valuable and worth continuing. To me, theater, the part that you lose out on that you have in theater is that communal experience of being in the same physical space with the audience and allowing that to inform you. And there's an interplay, a relationship with the audience and with the other people that you are performing with, that, is flattened a little bit in two dimensions. It's just you can't capture that same energy.
Yeah.
So I think that's what distinguishes it from how I'm defining theater.
Mhm.
But I also think that, it's brought people together who wouldn't be able to collaborate at this moment in time in the same physical space. I think opening up the accessibility factor, because one of the big problems with theater is that it's not accessible in terms of, finance is a whole host of complex reasons. It's not accessible to a lot of people. So I think, democratizing it or putting it out on a platform that anyone can consume is really important and valuable. So I think that the collaborations, the people that this has brought together, the creativity that's forced by having the not even limited, but the boundaries of this particular structure and how you work within it. It's like, okay, you have a playground with a different set of rules that forces you to be more creative and not make certain assumptions or take things for granted that you perhaps could when you're sharing a space.
Yeah.
So it's different than, communal theater going in a shared physical space, but still valuable and important. So I guess I'm a little bit of the contrarian here, but I still think we're playing for the same team.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. I agree with you. I agree with you. I agree with all of you. I think you're all right. I don't think there's any wrong answers here. I think the best part of this is there are benefits in both. As someone who started on stage, who's trained on stage, the audience is an important part. That it becomes this living, breathing thing. And every performance, it changes because the audience changes, the energy changes, the weather changes. So a performance every night is affected. You can try to do the same show every night. You're saying the same lines, you're doing the same moves, and yet it's always different. And that is exciting as a stage actor. The reason why we do 2 live shows here, and we don't film it once and show it someplace else, is because once it's filmed, it doesn't change. And to be able to see the shifts between the first and second performances is great. And it's also fun for the audience because they know that you're live. And if something goes wrong, you got to do the same thing that you do on stage, which is cover and keep moving and stay in the moment. That's exciting. So we try to keep as much of that live spirit as possible. I'm all for playing with the camera work and manipulating. I think that is we can definitely explore that as a theater company, certainly. But for this work, especially because it's all new material and it's the first time it's being presented, we need to try to present it as raw and as natural as it could possibly be. And that's why the work that you do is so, it's a gem. It's great for people to see how it's developing. So thank you. Thank you for doing this.
I just have another thought, because people say that to me as well. It's not theater. And I feel like it's saying at this time now in the global warming era saying this is not winter. Yeah. Instead of searching for, the positive things that we can do and how we can play with this and what other creative ways we can find. And I wish, I just hope we all like globally find a way to step together and appreciate the positive things that we're doing together. That's my wish.
I agree with you. One final thought, and then we wrap. I think the key element to theater is connection. Is connecting what you are doing on stage to each other and connecting with the audience. It's that interplay, the connection, okay? And I can say without a doubt, the work that we are doing here is connecting. We connect with each other because now you know each other. And it's so weird that when you finally meet each other in person, you're not even going to remember, wait a second, I've never met you before in person. The only time I saw you was on a screen, and you know each other. It's amazing how you've connected, and the work that you create, the audiences that get to see it, they're able to connect with it because they feel what you're doing. So that we can talk about the particulars and the semantics and what we miss and what we don't, what we appreciate. But the connection is there. So, and that's what surprised me most about doing this work on this platform. We're still connecting. So thank you. Thank you for connecting. Thank you for bringing your incredible, I have to tell you, I love you guys. I love you all very much. And I'm so honored to have you as friends and as fellow artists. So thank you so much. And I want to thank all of you for tuning in and watching us. I'm sorry, sometimes we tend to talk a lot, but this is exciting. And I hope that excitement bubbles through and you're able to feel that as well, because we're really excited about being able to create new work and share it with you. So again, I will ask you all, part of why we're doing this time, we usually do it this time of year, but we wanted to sort of, next week is Thanksgiving. We wanted to sort of start the holiday season with something that's really fresh and positive. And so that's why we're doing this work now. But we really need your support. We know that you're there. We ask that all of you who are watching, please tell your family, tell your friends, tell people you know about the work that we're doing. If you miss a performance, you can always go to our YouTube page or our Facebook page and you can see it. And then ultimately it will be on our website, tvtv.org. You can see all of our past intensives on our website. So that work continues on. So hopefully you'll be able to do that. If you really like what we do, click the donate button at the top of our homepage, tvtv.org. We could really use your support. I don't normally like to ask for money. Unfortunately, we're in a really, really weird time right now. We started last fall, we started creeping back into live theater. We were one of the first off-Broadway companies to present a live stage production last October. And it was sort of strange for us. I mean, there was this constant fear of, is someone going to get sick with COVID, and are we going to have to cancel the show? There were a lot of theaters, a lot of Broadway shows that had to cancel performances and close runs because people came down with COVID. We were lucky, we didn't have to, but people just aren't coming to the theater as much, understandably. Hopefully you will eventually. Inflation, prices have gone up. It's costing more to rent theaters. It's costing more to produce shows. And for a small company like ours, it limits us when the prices go up. It forces us to say, all right, do we have to do less now? And I don't want to do less. I want to do more because we have such great artists and we want to be able to share them with you. So please contribute if you can. And if you don't want to contribute, just come and see our work and tell people about it. That would be the best thing. Tomorrow, we have a really amazing show written by Tatiana G. Rivera. The play is called That We Keep. I love Tots. She is a wonderful playwright. She's written for us many times. Really, really amazing. The play was directed by Ashley Wren Collins, and we have a great cast. Enrique Huili, Ayako Ibaraki. The play is called That We Keep. That We Keep. 7:30 YouTube, 8:30 right here on Facebook. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much. Another great hand for Grady and for Keith and for Gaia. Go to bed, Gaia, for God's sake. Sammy, you guys look so gorgeous. I just have to tell you, every one of you, I can't wait to give you big hugs when we see each other in person. So have a wonderful evening. Thank you so much. Good night, all.